And welcome! This is the Revanchism special highlight video of boats. I know you guys haven't seen much from me in the past month, but that's because I've been working on this. With a beautiful night sky, I figured this is a great time to show you what I've been up to. And we are taking a look at the night view of, first up, a battleship, also known as a ship with a line. The second ship we're coming to is a clipper, a fast-moving cargo ship that doesn't really spend much time out on the sea, followed by a cog, a very small transport ship but used for longer distances, a rowing boat, a canoe, and a kayak. Now that you've seen them all at night, let me change it back over to daytime and we will walk over and discuss each and every one of these. Okay, first up we have a kayak. Basically, you have a 3 wide with 1 in the middle, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 long. Cargo, a chair, and yes, these are half slabs. Just gives it more of a definition to the ship. It's only about 2 deep. So 1, 2, and then half slabs up on top. Then you have the canoe, slightly smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Classic thing about the canoe is you have 2 seats and a divider in the middle. Also, it's about the same depth. Yes, these are half slabs. That way, when you're in it, you have more of a feeling that you're actually in the ship. Next up, we have a rowing boat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 long. You have a 3x3 in the middle, and a little bit of a leveling up area. You could technically go with this, but I decided I wanted more space down here. You have 1 place for an observer to tell you where you're going, and 1 place for the actual rower. Moving right along, and yes, you'll probably notice that these ships are only halfway done. I did that so that I can talk about the insides a little bit more. I know it kind of lacks some of the detail of the whole look to the ship, but I will be coming back and filling out the other side, and I'll do one more pass before the close of the video with them being completely filled so you can see what they look like. The details on this, and I'm not going to go into the specifics, but the details are basically like this. Going kind of slow so you guys, if you're wanting to recreate it, can do so. Okay. Now, I don't have this really supported in the middle. It's kind of too small for that. This up here is called the forecastle, and this is called the aft castle. Now, I did add the half slabs here. It kind of made a great design for the wheel. That's basically just a piston, some stayer blocks, extended piston right there. These fence posts kind of block it off and also look like it's more of the rope that's attached to the wheel itself, giving it a nice flavor. Have a ladder going all the way up to the crow's nest. Nice little flag. You have basically just a line going down from the top of the mast down to the front, and then you have a line that's actually connected. Sorry about that. A line that's connected to the mainsail which then goes down here, that with different types of tension you can set the sails to go different ways. Another line that will raise up your sail is attached over here. We don't have the amount of detail I would like in Minecraft to give a proper representation. One important thing to note about sails is, you see how wide it is, correct? Well, that's very important, because in order to determine how high it is, you have to know how wide it is. And to determine how wide it is, you have to know how wide your ship is. So the sail extends 1 block past the width of your boat. Regardless of the size, you do not get sails that are way bigger than your boat. You never will. It won't work. You'll tip your boat over. So on both sides it goes 1 block over, and then you count up from end to end. Okay? Now 3/4 of that number is how high it's going to be. So if this was, let's say if this was 12 wide, it probably isn't. It might be more like, what is this 13? Yeah, it's 13. So we'll consider it 12 because the center doesn't really count in my eyes. So then that's going to mean it's going to be about 9 tall. So 3, 3, and 3. So you add a 12 by 9. That's what determines the size of your sails. Now let's take a look at how to actually make this. This is a little bit more pointed out here. It's not normally going to be that pointed. You have to finagle with that to be able to get it where you want it. But right here we have the important figures. We have 5 spanning the sides. So that's 5 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spanning here. And then we also have the proper angles. So this looks like it would be, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 5 in radius circle, so it would be an 11 wide circle. Go online, look up the different sizes of the circles, and they'll tell you what it is. And that's going to be our ribbing. Okay? Now, basically, the way you make good looking boats is you take a circle, and the moment it would start curving, like this would be normally curving over this way, and it would just keep going like that until it hit here. This is where it would start curving. So just go ahead and cut that part off, and then measure how long that is. That's going to be an 11. So from front to back should be 4 times that. It's not going to be on this particular model, because this model I looked online and this is the actual dimensions. So I built this one to historical accuracy. Now on these cogs you have also a little bit more of a sloped design, kind of like an angle instead of a circle. But up front you have more of a circle. So if you look, kind of got a circle going on here, and then it's just kind of sloped. Okay? We didn't have much room for cargo down here, so I opted, instead of having a level between my ballast and my cargo, just kind of put them on the same level. You'll see in some of the other designs that it's not. Also, an important detail on decorating your ships, don't forget, sailing wooden ships need extra sails. They get in a lot of problems if they don't have those extra sails and something happens to the one they have. Up front, I needed something to put here. I didn't have quarters for crew, and this ship is designed to go on longer travel, so I put the crew up here. Back here, because this is a small ship, it would have a small little kitchen, small table, and on this side over here would be the captain's quarters. Now, since I'm going to be filling this in full detail by copying and pasting, I decided not to decorate it. So this is one of the few designs that I didn't decorate all of it. moving right along onto the Clipper. The Clipper is a ship that is known for two features. One, 3 masts and maximum sails on it. And 2, it's a flat bottom boat. So we would have had a let me see here. Yeah, we would have had 3 here, 1 and 2 here, which means this right here would have been our center. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would have been a circle size 9, but because we wanted it flatter on the bottom and less circle, we went ahead and instead of having this design, we punched those and took that out. So it's a flatter boat. Now if you're wondering what this line right here is, every time you set up your circles, you need to make sure that it has a keel line. What this does is it basically helps prevent the boat from tipping over and from getting off balance. Now we do have room for cargo and ballast and a floor, so I did separate it. Gives you a much nicer, cleaner look on the inside when you walk around your cargo. Extra sails up here, cargo. This ship does not feature any crew quarters because this is a English ship that's designed to go basically carry the first fruits of the season on over to England. So it really wouldn't be more than a one-day trip. I didn't see a point in taking up cargo space for sleeping quarters. When you put these 4 masts up here, what's important to note is you do need to put cargo netting here, just in case someone falls over. It is kind of hazardous working up here, so just put something up here. It could be decorative. It's important to put it up there. You also kind of want to bring your fence posts over it so it looks like it's more secured. Put some stairs near it. Just kind of attach it to the boat. Here we have mast supports, just some stairs, half slabs, fence gates, and fences on the corner. This allows us to open it up, jump, and actually climb the sail. You do want to put something like these in here, or if you're playing a more up-to-date version of Minecraft than I am, you have the new hatches that you can literally put on the top side of the box instead of on the bottom. That would be a wonderful feature for this area right here. We have a little winch here which literally controls the ropes. Once again, same design with the steering column. This one also doesn't have a captain's quarters. No windows. We go ahead and quickly go over how to do the roping for the lines. Basically attach it to the point where you would pull the sail up, and then just go ahead and bring it on over. Pretend that there's a pulley here and it has to go through that. We have 2 ropes meeting up here, this one and that one, so both go through a double pulley over here, and then that comes down here. Now I'm relying on the tension of that double pulley to steer this one. Now as far as stabilizing your masts, it's classical to tie it 3 times on the front, 1 above each sail, then tie these 2 masts together, then tie these 2 together, then tie this to the back of the ship. You don't really want to put any sails up front. Okay, no sails up front. What that does is it catches more wind, which is kind of the point of a sail, and it makes it really hard to steer your ship. So you really don't want to do that. Now that talks about those top ones. Now these bottom ones, they both kind of join together to go into a double pulley here. And then these 2 would join again over here but then we need 2 from here, so we actually have 4 ropes going into this junction, and then that ties onto the bottom. And then last but not least, you have this sail right here, which is also tied into that winch. Make sure when you're doing this, to give it more decorative beauty, that you don't have them all going the same path. It's really tempting to, and it would make the job a lot easier, but it gives it a lot more beauty if you line them separately, just as if they were following their own paths. Moving right along, we have the ship of the line, also known as line of battle ship, also known as battleship. It's a wooden sailing battleship. Basically, the only way I can describe what it has is by going on the other side. Oh, I'm sorry. I neglected to go over the construction details of this one. So you have your little slope, and it comes on out. You just need to basically finagle with it. All of this shipbuilding is all about finagling with what you have. Other than that, it's just basically, see, like over here, I wanted a more pointed front, so I decided to do it that way. And I wanted a more flat back, so I decided to do it that way. Okay, it's just finagling with the figures, getting them where you want them. The sails here are basically done the exact same way as the other one. The other one looks a little bit more complicated, but in all honesty, it's not. You still have the same, it's just they're a lot closer together. This one I had actual space to put in a cargo net, and I thought it would look really nice, so I chose the main mast for that, over in the mid. And I don't really have it dropping off overboard. Just kind of started here and tried to tear my way out. Looks really nice. Okay, let me go over the keel on this one. Let's also set it to day so that you guys can actually see. Yeah, I think that's a good view, and you guys should be able to follow from there. And I'll just kind of skip past this part right here, back to where it actually starts changing on you. Once again, this is basically something that you just have to finagle with, mess around with, see what looks best. On the other side, I have some guidelines on how to do that. And let's actually get into that, shall we? Let's start at the more simple part, up here at the fore. You have a circle, once again, just like we talked about, and it follows on the same pattern over here. Now the actual circle cuts off here. So here you have an option. You can do it the way I did it, where it's just going straight up. Or you can do it the classic way, which is more commonly seen, where you either have it jetting out here at the same line, or here. But basically what that does, it pushes the whole thing out by one row. So from here up, it would be one row farther out. That's a more classic way to do it. What that came from is that came from them putting the castles on the ships after it was built. However, what I did was I decided to design mine into the ship. So I decided to have more of a flat surface. Over here we have kind of the brig. I don't know why I put it here, other than the fact I needed something to put here. Couldn't think of anything else. Over here we have the officers' quarters. You know, A little bit nicer rooms than all the other people would get. The other side would have the same, so that this would actually be kind of a lobby area before you get over to the quarters. This floor we have supplies, and then more localized supplies for the cannons. I stole this idea off of another person. I do not remember his name, and I don't think I'd be able to remember it. So if you want to steal this idea, by all means. What it basically is it's a furnace cart sitting on a track. Now I modified his idea because what he had was he had a half slab here, and he had a full block here, and nothing up here. What I decided to do was I decided to put a half slab here and a half slab here, and then circle it around with ropes. Since we don't really have ropes, I decided to go with fence posts. That looks pretty nice. I positioned it so that the actual furnace, let's see if I can get, there you go. The furnace face is pointing outwards. So, there you go. On these larger boats, you do want to have more than one stairwell. This is kind of the same. Have 2 decks of guns. This is the sleeping quarters. I think back here I stashed some extra sails. Yeah, I did. And they just kind of like stash back here. You'd have to pull them out, but hey, you know, there's enough people on the ship, I'm sure one of them would be able to pull it out. If you want more decorative designs, you can stash some sails up along the sides back here. Yeah, yes, it's a big ship. Sometimes you got to get creative with your stairways, that's not a problem. Here's the cargo hold. Let's go ahead and fly so that this is faster. Got some more sails stashed back here. Now there's no ballast on this part, but there is ballast on all of this that I can get ballast on. Okay. What you'll notice with some of these designs where you have the sloping backs is you start losing space as you go. So the ballast would have to stop there, the cargo hold would have to stop there, and then these other decks can continue a little bit farther. That one would have to stop there, and then we finally get to a point where they don't stop. How do we decide this? Well, if you've been watching, you'll notice this small little bar right here. How or why did I decide to put that bar there? Well, let's go back to where it started. It starts right here, right? That's at this hip. So let's just put it there. Okay? So it would literally come at that point right there. And that's where I would start the tapering. Now, why would I start it there instead of that farther back? Well, I have to think about it about design. So we have this ship that's divided in 4 sections. We have this quarter, and here's the halfway point. That's where that line starts. Then we have this quarter and this quarter. We want this line to gradually taper in all the way to 1 point. So if I were to place another block here, it would taper here on that side too. Now, why do I have this a little bit more anchored out? I felt like it. I thought that a single point was a little much, so I decided to have it be 5 points instead. 5 points to match the taper here. So it tapers to 1 point, this one, and then I wanted from that 1 point it to be a little wider. So then I attached this to the back. Then, when you're designing the actual body, you have to taper from here all the way up to that bar, okay? And then as it tapers in, you keep tapering to the bar. You stop at the bar. Okay? Just got one taper. Now this is important because this right here also tapers. Now why does this taper? This one tapers to this point. So we have this taper, and then we multiply how much that taper is by 2. And that puts us with this bar. Okay? And that bar right there is the one that's going to be tapering. See how it tapers in? Now, why did I decide to push this farther out? Well, I decided to have a little bit more room up there. So, not a problem. Just place it on top. It doesn't detract from your ship's view. In fact, actually, I think it makes it look a little bit better because you have this circle and you kind of have a box sitting on top. More variety with your designs is a good thing. Now, how did I decide how high that was? In all honesty, I kind of forgot, so I'm trying to remember. Let me see, that's the halfway point. Oh yeah, I remember. I was trying to taper this down to the midpoint too. So I just kind of worked and finagled until I got the right distance of how fast the blocks would have to angle up. Because I want this to angle up to that point. That midpoint of where this beam is going. And as fast as that angled, for every block I took away, I put one back on top. Kind of gives it a sloped. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kind of gives it a slope to your ship. So it looks more like it's bent. You can see it better on the other side. See, it looks more like the ship is bent than it really looks like it is missing anything. Let's change this back to day. This is really bothering me. Toggle downfall. Yes, yes, go away. Okay. So, let me go ahead and go over this a little slower so you can see where the actual angles meet. Once again, this is just where the angles are. You would still have to come back with your own artist design and smooth it how you want. This is the rough, if you would. The other side is the more finished. This lets you see a little bit better of what's going on. Okay, we haven't gone over this yet. Got some tables, some chairs. Make creative use of the upside down stairs. Makes things look a little bit better, especially if you use them for tables. Use different color stairs for your seats than you do for your tables. Fill your kitchen with random junk. Really helps. Even putting some food on top of the stoves to keep it warm. Nice little touch. Once again, get creative with your use of stairs. Crafting tables make great decorative blocks for tables to show that they're working on something. Headboards don't hurt either. These stairs, basically, nothing hard about it. Your floors are only ever in a ship 2 tall. So if you include the floor, it's 3. 1, 2, and then you inset this one. Okay? You also kind of want to outline your floors. When you're making a boat, make sure that you use 1 wood for the outer material, 1 for the actual floors, and then 1 for furniture if you decide to use it. So just like this. None of these floors are larger than 2. You never want to use a floor that's larger than 2 on a ship. I promise. If you are using a floor that's larger than 2, you need to rethink what you're putting in the ship. Go ahead and zoom on up here. To the crow's nest. Once again, very generic crow's nest. And that's that. I'm going to land back over here. And I will cut the video and be back with one more pass of what the ships look like, finished on both sides. I'll see you then. And we're back, and as you can see, the ship now has both sides to it. So we're just going to be doing a very quick walkthrough to show you what it looks like now. As you can see, the captain's room is now completed. All the rigging looks about the same. The galley looks a lot more suitable to feeding. Kitchen looks like it could actually handle something. The batteries look most impressive. Crew quarters actually look like they could house enough people. And the hold actually looks like it could carry enough supplies. The lounge looks a lot nicer. The brig looks more complete. I added this part in as well. Strung those lines, strung that back line that you saw earlier. And there's the line of battleship. And here's the Clipper. Nice little, small, fast cargo ship. Actually looks like it could hold something now. And our small little inky dinky cog. Cargo area, plenty extra sails. I couldn't really figure out what to do with this area. It needs a kitchen, obviously, not a very big one, and it needs a place for people to eat. But I did not have much room left over for the captain, so he's not in much better condition than the the sailors that are working under him. So, on the plus side, this ship doesn't really require many people. And that's it. That is the different ships. The Cog, Clipper, and Battleship. Now I leave you with a question, and whoever answers this question accurately will get a tutorial on whatever ship they want. The question is this: what was the very first European-styled ship that was made exclusively for war, and when was it made? And if you cannot get this, you can answer a follow-up question, which will be, how were ships, before they were dedicated as warships, turned into warships? And I throw cookies at you guys for even trying. So, until next time, I will see you later. Ciao.